You are about to go away. We are staying right here. We'll see you in fellowship after hours. I got it all in before Christine got home. So anybody have any comments, questions, criticisms, whatever?
13 powerful, power-packed verses.
I'm gonna find that picture and I'll email it to you, Dawn. That way, maybe.
Yeah, I can put it in the introduction. Yeah. If I had been thinking, I would have had it ready.
Yeah, I've got my order to things isn't that good when it comes to things like pictures, because I throw them wherever I used it last. That's where I stuck the damn thing.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. I mean, I will say I have. Let me check. In fact, I have one. I have one group of pictures that are graphics from the Word. It might just be those are there. Let's see. Pictures.
Progressive revelation.
Graphics for teachings. You guys go ahead and talk. Let's not leave the air dead.
Just think it's interesting that God would lay out the pattern for the tabernacle to Moses. I mean, you can't make that stuff up.
Right?
Really. And that they followed that pattern all the way through the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to show is the doors in that in the temple. There's 3 doors. The first one is called the way, the second one is called the truth, and the third one is called the life. Thus Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. I always thought that was a pretty cool verse. So somebody must have something to say.
And this Old Testament was put in writing to be read by Jesus Christ when he came, so that he could know who he was, what he was supposed to do because of who he was, and what he would receive if he did what he's supposed to do because of who he was. It's just...
Say that 5 times without stuttering.
I said it once and stuttered.
So, yeah, I need to hear it again, Don.
This was all written. God gave this to Moses so that he could write all this down, and so this would all be read one day by Jesus Christ as his source of information, so that he could know, so that Jesus could know who he was and what he was supposed to do because of who he was, and what he would receive from God if he did what he's supposed to do because of who he was.
Right. John says it was his prescription for life.
Yeah. Amen.
It's like the New Testament, the epistles are written to us. the entire Old Testament from Genesis to Malachi was written to Jesus.
Is this the picture you were talking about, Dawn?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
See this, there were two chambers there. And can you circle this building, Mike, right here at the back center?
Back here?
Yeah,
Where the temple, where the Holy of Holies is?
yeah, that's where the Holy of Holies and everything else is. There was, in any case, there were two chambers there, I believe. This open section was, this whole section back there, I believe, is, oh,
Herod's temple. Herod's temple. You shit ass.
there was, yeah, this is what I needed to see. That one right there.
Huh.
Any of those is fine. You see that big open court? That's where everybody met. And then there's a building there. And the first one is where the priests did their ministerial stuff, like the animal sacrifices and all that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And there you can see two of the doors. Actually, all three doors. The way is at the bottom. The truth would be the one where that wall is in front of the big building. And the life is that door that leads into the Holy of Holies. At least I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But that was a good picture, Mike. Excellent.
How
And
many,
there's,
how many acres is that temple area? Anybody know?
oh, I think it was like 4 football fields or something. It was huge. I mean, on the day of Pentecost, 5,000, what is it, 3,000 people believed. And if you take a 1 and 3, that means there were 9,000 people in there. Place is huge.
Huge by their standards.
Huge by our standards. I mean, I always love watching these movies about Jesus Christ when he's walking into the temple, because you get a pretty good idea of just how big that temple was. It was enormous. Most movies about Jesus Christ I don't really care for, but it gives you great mind pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the 10 Commandments. It's the most bogus movie around. But it gives you great mind pictures of what might have been happening. As long as you don't follow their religion, you're fine. Yeah, that's a good picture there. That is really good. You see this big temple area, that court area? See, I'm one of those crazy people who really likes this stuff. I mean, I love the biblical traditions and customs and idioms, and there's so much that when we read we don't understand because we didn't, God didn't have to explain it to the Jews. It was their life. And yeah, I like that picture, Mike. That one, yeah, that's good. It's a good idea of what it was. Okay, that's enough, Mike. You don't have to keep going crazy for it, looking for it. If you come across it, mail it to me. If you don't, then I'll just look up I can go to Google Images and get an image of the temple, I'm sure. Just like for you, just like for when Don teaches, I go and get all these graphics of the scriptures, put them in.
Speaking of graphics, I'm putting my book, Third Day Sense, on a whole bunch of slides. I've got like over 100 slides, PowerPoint, 100 PowerPoint slides that follow the book, trying to get more illustrations. Some of them are pretty cool. When I get it all finished, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's like a PowerPoint that you can, like the old days when you had those little projectors, and then you'd hear the beep, beep, and you advance us to the next slide.
Yeah.
They'd read some more, or you'd listen to a record player talking about something, and then you'd hear this beep, and then it goes on to the next slide.
Yeah. I remember that.
Something like
Well,
that. That's kind of what I had in mind.
That's high tech for when we were growing up.
Yeah. So you can read the book and then like hear a beep, beep, and then go on to the next slide and watch it all on PowerPoint.
Today you'd have to put a rim shot in.
If I can get somebody like James Earl Jones or something to read the book,
Yeah.
that'd be very cool.
You now have the picture in your box.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't stop. It's impossible. I'm too stupid and tenacious. I can't.
Yeah, I know. Christine knows if I'm working on a teaching, leave me alone. I don't want to know about what's going on Facebook. I don't want to know what's going on in the world. I want to do my teaching.
Right?
Mike, your face needs more light.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I have to. I don't know why it jumped off of my auto thingamajig.
Probably because you were searching.
Probably.
So when are y'all headed to West Virginia, Michael?
We are leaving on the 23rd, John. I'm working the 22nd. I'm gonna come home, go to bed, and when I wake up, we're getting in the car and starting our 1,300-mile journey.
Well, that's a Saturday morning then, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't get there till Sunday, but I don't drive night I'll drive early morning real well, but when I start getting sleepy after the sun starts setting, I got to pull out. Used to keep going, but too old for that shit.
Yeah.
And Josh and his wife and the baby are following us, so there'll be more stops than normal.
Yeah.
Danny keeps saying that there's actually going to be more stops because I got to pee than there will be with the baby.
Ain't that the truth?
And you're the one holding up the family caravan now.
I am the one holding them up now. I used to be the ruthless one that drive straight through and say, you just peed 300 miles ago. Why do you got to pee again?
Right.
Now I'm the one that's got to stop at every gas station and McDonald's on the way. Yep, things do change.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we used to go to the Rock, we'd be stopping off at Christine's parents, and I'd leave at 7 p.m. and I would just drive
Yeah.
till I needed to stop for gas. I'd stop for gas and then I'd just drive again.
Mm.
And I couldn't do that these days.
Luckily, God made youth strong enough not to be suffer the consequences of their stupidity.
Right.
Old people, he figures you better get it by then because you're going to suffer for your stupidity when you're older.
Yeah. I think that's why it took Chris, it's taking them so long to get here, it's because they keep stopping.
Oh yeah, that's
Mm.
I was stupid. I think back on some of the things we did when we traveled, and I really I wish I would have stopped more to smell the flowers. But we do now. I mean, lesson learned. What good common sense and truth never taught me. Old age made me learn it.
Well, I learned from my dad. He was in the Air Force and he got transferred from Falmouth, Massachusetts to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And we all piled into the family car and
Mm. Mm.
the only thing that was different was he didn't start at 7, he'd start in early morning and we'd stop at night 400 or 500 miles further down the road. And even then it was if you drove hard, it was a 3-day trip. If you didn't drive hard, it was a 4-day trip.
Yeah, it takes me, I mean, when we first started, Dan and I started making this trip very early on, in, back in the double nickel speed zones. And it would take me 24 hours on the road to make that 1,300-mile trip.
Mm.
Now I can make it in 19 hours on the road. Now that's road time. That's not,
Yeah.
that's literal road time. But because of, I mean, Texas is 80 miles an hour down here, so we love driving through Texas.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but of course you get to different states and it's different speed limits.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny. When we were coming back from Colorado, going back to Massachusetts, we took a more northern route, which took us through Dakota or Wyoming. And those roads are just flat and straight,
Right?
and there's no traffic. And my father was just roaring down, my dad, who's constantly preached, obey the law, obey the law. He looked down at the speedometer, he was doing 90 miles an hour.
The
Of course, 120. We all had to try that at least once.
Yeah.
I think I was in, after they got over the double nickel speed limit, I was in Wyoming. Is that where Cheyenne is? Wyoming? Yeah. I was in Wyoming, and literally, it's the speed sign said maintain control. And now I was never really a speed demon. I mean, I always went the speed limit plus 5 miles. Whatever the speed limit went, I would go the speed limit because I always heard you would never get racked for that. So I'd go the speed limit plus 5 miles. Well, when I got to Wyoming and it said maintain control, and I was driving a company car, I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. Just how fast can you go before you lose control? And I got the speedometer only went to 120, and I surpassed the speedometer. But yeah, but I came up on a curve. It couldn't have even been, I mean, literally, it couldn't have been a 5-degree angle on this freeway. And I thought I was going to lose the car just on a little, just turning the steering wheel ever so slightly because of how fast I was going. And I backed back off and went my 80 miles an hour or whatever I went. And I said, I'll never do that again because I literally could feel, I had this feeling like that car was going to go. It was just going to fly off. So that Taurus wasn't made for the Indianapolis 500, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's the fastest I've ever driven. And it was on an open freeway, nobody there but me and a bunch of cows.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Don made the face of what I was thinking. Cows can be more dangerous than cars.
Oh, no shit.
Those wander on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I was driving in a freeway a couple years ago. We were on our way to South Carolina to play some golf, and there wasn't much out there. We were doing a pretty good clip, and a dog started to cross the road and literally walked across 4 lanes of the highway. I could see him up ahead. I didn't know if he was going to make it all the way across, and I had to swerve to miss him because he just took his time. But I can only imagine. I mean, and I don't even want to imagine.
Friends in high school that hit horses or cows going down country roads. But
Deer,
totally
deer,
demolished their cars, and it seemed like one friend was in the hospital for a long time.
Mhm.
Went
Yeah,
through the windshield.
oh,
they don't move very well.
No, but I've heard the same thing about deers.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, Mike's dad, hit a deer or almost hit a deer going down the road. So I went and got him one of those $7 little gadgets you put on the front of your car that kind of whistles.
Mhm.
You know, we can't hear it, but the deers can.
mm.
So that they would get out of the way when they saw Dad going down the road.
We hit
Like,
back
like a
to
dog,
basketball. I'm sorry.
like a dog whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a deer coming back from downstate basketball game in West Virginia one time. That they made us get out of the van and gut and clean that deer so that they could take it home. The coaches, they wanted that deer meat.
Oh, yeah, that's,
We had that. It was dark out too. We were working with lanterns and everything else on the side of the road in the mountains of West Virginia, cleaning a deer after a basketball tournament. Blood all over us.
Looking for the nearest creek to rinse off.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think we rinsed off. It was, we weren't that far from home when we hit it, but far enough away to where the 2 hours it took us to stop and quarter that damn thing was a lot of time. Put it in buckets. And I didn't know where the hell the buckets came from. It was pretty funny. It was funny. They wanted that deer meat though.
Probably after basketball night.
It's good and it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I like deer meat.
yeah.
I had this little girl that worked for me for Denny's. And she was when I was in charge of a lot of real estate, and she hit a deer up in Arkansas one time and called me up on the phone and said, you know, I had an accident. I hit a deer. I'm okay. The car's okay. The deer's dead. And she said, the state trooper wants to know if I'll take the deer, and I don't know what to do. He said, I said, tell him no.
Give her about 8 phone numbers.
Yeah, right.
Out there, they'll be there in 2 minutes.
You know, if I'd known anybody in Arkansas at the time, I would have. Yeah, that was cute. Well, what's to know if I want the deer?
Oh, you can have it.
Well, we've got critters up here now that have roamed up here from Texas, armadillos.
Oh yeah.
That is our speed bumps.
Texas speed bumps, yeah. And there's a family of them living out where I'm working now because I'm in an abandoned building, and every morning I'll be out talking to the security guard out front, and the mommy and the 3 little babies following behind it will go
Oh,
dumpster
that's
area
cute.
into the where there's water. And she's taking them for their morning swim. And I'm every morning when I'm there.
Now that's cute. I want a picture of that.
Yeah, but I can't. I tried to, but my phone won't get that dark.
Oh,
Won't get light
yeah.
enough across the street. And I don't want to go after her because mother gets pretty pissed off.
Oh, yeah, that's like messing with the raccoon.
Right.
You don't want to mess with raccoons.
No, they're
We had,
really cute.
we had a cat that found that out the hard way.
Oh man. Yeah, they're ruthless. My cousin used to have one, and he raised it from a baby, and he would carry it around on his shoulders, man. And if you got close to him, that raccoon was nasty, boy. He would snare at you, scare the daylights out of you. Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy. Well, I'm gonna call it a night. I got an early
Okay.
day tomorrow. This heat is definitely kicking my hind end.
yeah.
Down there.
Thank you,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
it's not been bad. It's been in the mid 90s to 98. But inside that building, it's like 110 degrees because I don't have any air conditioning in there. So when the sun hits all that glass, it just up like a big dog. And so, I mean,
Takes the energy right out of you.
it just sucks the energy out of you, dog. I mean, literally. So I've been enjoying my little naps when I get home. And
Yeah.
so we love you guys with all our heart.
Very good.
Okay. 1 minute before you leave. Too late. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Love you.
All right. Thank you. Good night. God bless.